Hey folks, it's King's Drummer, and I'm here for another video. This is more or less a continuation of the last video I put out. It's a store I found in Modesto, California that sold a lot of used records for $1, and I went back to the store for a second time and found some interesting things, and I want to show them to you. So let's get started. First record I want to show you is this one. It's called Right on Time, and it's by the Brothers Johnson. And I'm real happy to have this one. It features, the big song on here of course was Strawberry Letter 23. But one thing I noticed right off the bat, this record was produced by Quincy Jones, which is on vinyl starting to become one of my favorite producers. This goes back to when I bought a copy of Michael Jackson's Off the Wall, and I thought, boy, Quincy Jones did a brilliant job producing that record. Well, same thing here. He did an amazing job producing this one too. And my oldest brother is a fan of the Brothers Johnson and had this record back in the day. And he says, "Yeah, Quincy Jones, great producer." He goes, "A lot of the guys you see studio musicians on this record, you will find on Off the Wall with Michael Jackson." So supposedly it's a group of session musicians that kind of worked with Quincy on various projects. So very kind of interesting to know how one record ties into another record. It's pretty cool to learn things like that. And this thing sounds absolutely amazing on my turntable, so I'm really happy to have this. They were great musicians and great funk musicians as well. Okay, my obsession with 80s music kind of follows me trip to trip. And I'm starting to get into more Duran Duran records now that we're into vinyl. And this is their self-titled album. It's called Duran Duran. But what was great about this album is it had the song Girls on Film. It has Is There Something I Should Know and Planet Earth. A really good record. A sign of things to come later from this band. Now that I've gotten into vinyl, it gives me the chance to go after artists and records that I probably just decided not to get, probably because this is back in the days when CDs were so freaking expensive. So this is an opportunity to visit Duran Duran, and this is a real good copy actually. It's pretty clean considering it's quite old, but a little bit of ring wear here and there, but the cover's in good shape, the record's real clean, so I'm really happy to have this one. And I got another Duran Duran record, and it's Rio. Well, that's the same thing. A record I've always wanted to get. I had it on CD, but the CD I hardly listened to. But I'm glad to have this. And of course, it features "Hungry Like a Wolf," "Save a Prayer," "New Religion." I mean, it's a great record. It's a good album, and the cover probably not in the best of shape, but the record is real clean. The insert is in decent shape. Just a little bit of wear on this jacket, but otherwise plays really well, and the songs are super catchy. So really glad to have this in the collection now. I think between these two records and Arena is the era of Duran Duran that I was a big fan of. So we're always glad to have that. In my last video, I showed 2 Pat Benatar records, and I listened to both of those, and they're great. And so I wanted to get one more, and so I got this one, Pat Benatar's Friends of Passion. And have not listened to this one yet, but it has a lot of her big songs, which is "Hit Me Your Best Shot," "Treat Me Right," "You Better Run," and "Hell Is for Children." And she looks great on the covers. So I'm real happy to add this to the collection. This is my 3rd Pat Benatar record. Maybe I'm sure I'll get more. Just fun music to listen to. Like maybe a lot of it is overplayed thanks to FM radio, but it's always good to hear the records. So real happy to have that one. And the next one up, we have John Cougar Mellencamp's "Uh-Huh." I think that's how you say it. And I originally wasn't going to go for this record. I was actually looking for Scarecrow or Lonesome Jubilee, which are my my favorite records from him. But when I started looking at the track listing in here, you know, this one kind of snuck up on me. I realized there's a lot of songs on here I like from him, which is Crumbling Down, Pink Houses, Authority Song, Jackie O, Play Guitar. Yeah, I just realized there's a lot of songs on this album that are my favorite songs from him. And so I went and spun this one, listened to the whole thing in its entirety. It's a really enjoyable record. And this is going to start my vinyl collection of his albums because I really did like his voice. I loved his style of songwriting. I loved his music, the energy of his music, some of the message he puts across. It's good stuff, you know, and I always liked watching interviews with Mellencamp. He does make me laugh, so real happy to start a Mellencamp collection. Looking forward to getting more of his stuff. And next up, we have Madman Across the Water from Elton John. And since I started this whole vinyl thing, this is my third Elton John pickup. I have Honky Chateau and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And now this one. And it features the song Tiny Dancer, which is the reason I got this album, and Leave On. So I'm really happy to have this record. I love this little booklet that's pasted in the middle of the gatefold. It has all the song lyrics and the credits and some little old historic photos. It's a real interesting thing to thumb through while you're listening to the music. So I love this packaging. I love the design of the packaging, so it makes it a fun record to have. And I never considered myself that big of an Elton John fan, but you know, since I started collecting some of his vinyl, it made me realize how many songs of his I'm a fan of. So real glad to have a new addition in the vinyl collection. Okay, this record, I originally wasn't gonna buy it. Not because I didn't like it, it was because I already had a surround sound mix of this album on DVD audio, and with that you can hear every little detail in surround sound, and it sounded fantastic in that format. So I thought I was good, I didn't need the vinyl, but I saw it sitting in that store for $1, and I thought, why not? So it's Peter Gabriel's So. And I mean, it doesn't make me forget my surround sound mix, but this is a damn good record on vinyl. It's damn good. It has my all-time favorite Peter Gabriel song, which is Red Rain. I love that song, and it sounds great on the turntable. And of course, it had the big singles on it, which were Sledgehammer and Big Time. But it also has, oh, and In Your Eyes, that was a big single as well. But it also has Don't Give Up, which featured the vocals of Kate Bush. It's a gorgeous song. And it also has Mercy Street. And I have some of Peter Gabriel's live videos, and the live version of Mercy Street is really good. And I've just listened to this whole thing today, and oh, it took me back. It's such a great album. Probably my favorite of his records, along with his third solo album. So very happy to have this one. Okay, the same story with this record too. Originally I wasn't going to buy it because I already own a DVD audio version of it in surround sound. So I thought I was good there. The vinyl really wouldn't be much of an improvement, but you know, because I'm such a fan of this record, I thought, you know, maybe it might be good to have a vinyl copy because I love the record so much. And it's Fleetwood Mac, Rumors. And in my opinion, and probably a lot of other people's opinion, I think this is their best record. Just the songs are so good and so catchy. I love their vocal harmonies. This is just an awesome album to have. And like I said before, I owned a surround sound version of this record. And the surround sound version, of course, has rare photographs and liner notes and stories about the making of the songs you can read on the screen as the song is playing. And it also includes a version of the song Silver Springs that was left off of this record. A great song too. So, but I love having the vinyl. It's a good addition to what I already have, I just got done listening to this one too, and it's just a joy to own. Okay, and the last one we have is The Art of Noise featuring Dwayne Eddy. The song is called Peter Gunn. And what I like about it, it has that classic guitar riff from Peter Gunn that's instantly recognizable. I think, in my opinion, probably one of the more better guitar riffs, because it instantly hooks you when you hear it. And The Art of Noise, they had a song back in the early 80s called, I think, Close to the Edge or Closer to the Edge. And it was all synth rock. Just nothing but sequencers and keyboards and drum machine. But very interesting music, and when they released this song, it instantly had me. I always liked any version of the song Peter Gunn, and when The Art of Noise got a hold of it, it really turned into something awesome, I thought. Well, that's it. That's my dollar purchases from yesterday. I really love going to this store because his record collection is just so random. It's not separated by styles of music, genres, or anything like that. It's just, you're flipping through and you'll hit an R&B record, a classic rock record, a jazz record, and right behind is a blues record and a soundtrack and a vocal record from the 60s. So it's just a random mix of albums, and so you never know what you're going to see when you're flipping through it because they're not separated or put in any kind of order, and I actually kind of like that. So it's fun thumbing through all his records and find a few gems that you wouldn't mind taking home. Well, that's going to do it, and I will see you at the next video, folks.